Biomed Nexus. Daily updates, your essential biotech, medtech, and pharma recap. No noise, just what matters. TLDR Merck MRK is acquiring Terns Pharmaceuticals, TERN, for 6.7B, 53 share, to get TERN 701, an oral allosteric BCR ABL1 inhibitor for chronic myeloid leukemia, CML. This is Merck's third multi-billion-dollar acquisition in a year as it aggressively races to backfill the Keytruda patent cliff. Maze Therapeutics, Maze, reported the first-ever clinical proof of concept in broad APOL1-mediated kidney disease. MZE829 cut proteinuria by 35.6% at 12 weeks, with a massive 61.8% reduction in the FSGS subgroup. The stock rose 9%. Rocket Pharma, RCKT, faces its Kresladi PDUFA for LADI gene therapy on Friday. Approval would include a highly lucrative priority review voucher. Executive takeaway: the big pharma M&A machine keeps running. Merck announced a $6.7 billion acquisition of Terns Pharmaceuticals on Wednesday, adding TERN 701 to its hematology pipeline as the company stares down the terrifying Keytruda patent cliff in 2028. This is Merck's third multi-billion-dollar deal in roughly a year, and CEO Robert Davis called the asset a significant driver of growth in the next decade. The 42% premium to the 90-day volume-weighted average price tells you exactly how much Merck was willing to pay up for a Phase 1/2 asset. In precision medicine, Maze Therapeutics delivered a genuinely significant clinical moment. The first proof-of-concept data showing an oral APOL1 inhibitor can meaningfully reduce proteinuria in patients with genetically defined kidney disease. APOL1 risk variants disproportionately affect Black Americans and are a major driver of kidney failure in this population. The 35.6% mean reduction positions MZE829 as a potentially transformative therapy for over 1 million US patients. Read full analysis what to watch. Rocket Pharma, PDUFA, Friday, March 28th. Kresladi PDUFA for LADI gene therapy. This is the week's main regulatory event. Approval would come with a priority review voucher, which is absolutely critical to extending Rocket's cash runway. ACC 26, March 28th to 30, American College of Cardiology meeting in New Orleans. Watch for cardiovascular outcomes, data, and cardiometabolic crossover presentations, particularly anything touching GLP-1 cardiovascular effects. Orforglipron, April 10th. Lilly's oral GLP-1 target action date is exactly 2 weeks away. Maze, pivotal path. Management plans to meet with regulators to align on a pivotal program for MZE829. The timeline for that meeting and the ultimate Phase 3 trial design will be the next major catalysts. Top story: Merck pays 6.7B to buy its way past the Keytruda cliff. What happened? Merck, MRK, announced a definitive agreement to acquire Terns Pharmaceuticals, TERN, for $53 per share in cash, an equity value of approximately 6.7B, 5.7B net of acquired cash. The deal is expected to close in Q2 2026 and will result in an approximately 5.8B charge, 235 share, to Merck's results. The asset, TERN 701, is an investigational oral allosteric BCR ABL1 tyrosine kinase inhibitor, TKI, being evaluated in the Phase 1/2 Cardinal trial for patients with chronic phase CML who have failed or are intolerant to at least one prior TKI. Unlike older CML therapies that target the ATP binding site, TERN 701 works through the ABL myristoyl pocket, a distinct mechanism designed to overcome resistance mutations. The valuation math: the 50-throlic offer represents a modest 6% premium to Tuesday's close, but a massive 42% premium to the 90-day volume-weighted average price. Terns stock had already surged sixfold in the preceding 6 months on clinical data and intense M&A speculation, compressing the headline premium. Executive impact: this is Merck's third multi-billion-dollar acquisition in roughly a year, all driven by the same strategic imperative. Keytruda, 25B+ franchise, loses key patent protection in 2028. The competitive target here is Novartis's Scemblix, asciminib, which also utilizes allosteric inhibition and has generated strong early commercial traction. Merck is betting TERN-701 has a best-in-class profile that can capture share in a CML market still underserved by older TKIs. Clinical and research updates. Maze cracks the APOL1 code with first clinical proof of concept. What happened? Maze Therapeutics, Maze, reported positive top-line data from the Phase 2 Horizon trial of MZ829, an oral, dual-mechanism APOL1 inhibitor in patients with broad APOL1-mediated kidney disease, AMKD. This represents the first-ever clinical proof of concept in this genetically defined patient population. The numbers: 35.6% mean UACR reduction at week 12 across broad AMKD. 50% of patients achieved greater than 30% UACR reduction. 61.8% mean UACR reduction in the FSGS subgroup, the most severe patients. 48.6% mean UACR reduction in non-diabetic AMKD patients. Executive impact APOL1 risk variants are carried by approximately 13% of Black Americans and are a major genetic driver of kidney disease. AMKD is estimated to affect over 1 million people in the US alone. Until now, there has been zero approved therapy targeting the underlying genetic mechanism. The 61.8% reduction in the FSGS subgroup is particularly striking because FSGS is one of the most notoriously difficult forms of kidney disease to treat and a leading cause of kidney failure in young adults. Maze plans to advance into a pivotal program with $360 million in cash, extending its runway into 2028. Tempus AI partners with Daiichi Sankyo on ADC development. What happened? Tempus AI announced a strategic collaboration with Daiichi Sankyo to accelerate the clinical development of an antibody-drug conjugate ADC program in oncology. Daiichi Sankyo will leverage Tempus's foundation models and AI expertise, including its PRISM-2 multimodal platform. Executive impact. Daiichi Sankyo is the undisputed global leader in ADC development, the Enhertu franchise. Bringing Tempus's AI platform directly into the clinical development workflow signals the practical integration of AI into late-stage drug development, moving far beyond mere target discovery. Oncology and rare disease. Rocket Pharma's PDUFA is Friday. The setup: Rocket Pharmaceuticals, RCKT, faces a March 28 PDUFA for Kresladi, a lentiviral gene therapy for leukocyte adhesion deficiency type I, LADI, a rare and severe immune disorder. The FDA previously rejected the therapy in 2024. What's at stake? LADI patients suffer from recurrent, life-threatening bacterial and fungal infections. Clinical data has shown the potential to keep patients alive, out of the hospital, and dramatically reduce infection rates. An approval would grant Rocket a priority review voucher, which is absolutely critical to extending Rocket's cash runway beyond Q2 2027. Read Full Analysis Biomed Nexus Pro. Institutional Intelligence Brief-In. Today's Pro Brief, Merck's patent. Cliff Playbook, the strategic logic behind 3 multi-billion-dollar acquisitions in a year and what TERN-701 needs to prove against Scemblix. APOL1 as a health equity story, why MZ829's proof of concept matters beyond the clinical data. Rocket, PDUFA framing, the binary setup, PRV monetization value, and what a second FDA attempt means for the broader gene therapy sector. Upgrade to Pro today. Read, full article selective 2026 sponsorship placements are available. Reply directly to discuss a partnership or submit an inquiry here.